I've only been boxing for 3 years. He's a UFC legend. I was watching this kid growing up. The problem child turned pro 2 years later and has a string of high-profile bouts under his belt. The YouTuber turned fighter has dominated the influencer boxer sphere, boasting a 7-1-0 record. Since taking up the sport, he has been named as the top influencer boxer by the Pro Boxing Association. Jake won his first 6 fights before suffering his first defeat in a split decision loss to Tommy Fury in February 2023. But he bounced back, beating UFC legend Nate Diaz by unanimous decision in August 2023. Paul is a big PPV draw and has earned tens of millions from his fights. He said on his BS with Jake Paul podcast that he earned $30 million, £23 6 million, from his loss to Fury alone. He has shaken up the boxing world and has his sights set on becoming world champion one day and wants to fight the likes of Canelo Alvarez. Paul also owns Most Valuable Promotions and helped organize arguably the biggest ever women's boxing event, the Madison Square Garden showdown between Paul's fighter Amanda Serrano and Ireland's Katie Taylor. In 2023, Jake also signed for the Professional Fighters League, a competing promotion to the UFC. Paul started his professional career by knocking out a fellow YouTuber in Miami back in January 2020. Despite predictions that the bout would be closely contested, the American floored Gibb 3 times in the opener, forcing the referee to stop the match. Paul said, "I caught the boxing bug, I put the work in, and I'm in love with this sport. I dedicated the past 5 months of my life to this up in Big Bear with Shane Mosley. My power, my speed took him out in 1 round. I didn't even get to showcase my boxing ability, it was all just natural instinct." In his next fight, obliterated former NBA basketball star Nate Robinson with a brutal second-round KO. Robinson faceplanted after a looping right in the second round and was out cold as the fight was finally waved off. Such was the brutality of the finish, music legend Snoop Dogg likened it at the time to a hood fight. The KO became a huge internet hit, with poor Robinson trolled mercilessly with savage memes. Paul later argued that it was not only the most famous of his career, but in boxing altogether inish against retired UFC welterweight Ben Askren, 37. The ex-Disney star made light work of the former Bellator and one championship 170-pounds champ, starching him in under a minute with a vicious 1-2 combo. In the aftermath, Paul said, "It's been 4 months I've been in training camp every day. I deserve that ******. This is the craziest moment of my life. I told y'all I was gonna do it in the first round. I told y'all I'm a real fighter. I don't know how many times I've got to prove myself that this is for real." Paul's toughest fight to date was his first showdown against Woodley in Cleveland, as he went the distance for the first time in his career. He secured the win by split decision after winning 77-75, 75-77, 78-74 on the scorecards. Just 3 months later, Woodley then signed as a late replacement after ex-Love Island star Tommy Fury pulled out of a bout due to a broken rib and chest infection. However, as the two faced again, Paul's task proved to be a lot simpler than the first matchup, as he brutally shut the ex-UFC champion's lights out with a massive right hand in round 6. Jake said in the post-fight press conference, "I've done more than enough, 4 massive fights in 13 months. Nobody in the history of boxing has done what I've done at this age. I turned them all into memes. That's ***** is going viral all over the internet, and I'm ready to fight whoever. It doesn't matter if they're a professional boxer or a 5-time UFC champion. I don't care. I'm really built for this, and no matter what, I'm going to find a way to get the job done, and that's what I showed tonight." In October 2022, Paul secured victory over UFC legend Anderson Silva in the biggest win of his boxing career so far. He bettered Silva on points in Arizona, scoring a knockdown in the 8th and final round. Paul was awarded a unanimous decision with scores of 77-74 and 78-73, twice as he defeated his idol-turned-rival. He said, "It's a surreal moment. Hard work pays off. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to Anderson. He was my idol growing up. He inspired me to be great. He was the first celebrity I ever met. Without him, we wouldn't have had a fight this year. He's a tough mofo, a legend. I have nothing but respect for him. It improved his record to 6-0 and marked the first time he claimed victory over an opponent with prior professional boxing experience. Jake took on a professional boxer in his next fight, Tyson Fury's half-brother Tommy. He suffered defeat for the first time in February 2023, falling victim to a split decision in Saudi Arabia. Following the setback, Paul said, "A lot of people in my position would have just gotten worse mentally or crumbled or gave up or went back and take an easy fight or a tune-up fight. This made me a boxer even more and to come back to prove myself and to learn and get better. I love this sport. I love everything about it. This reaffirmed my belief and almost made me sign this like contract that maybe wasn't even signed yet with boxing forever. Because when I was winning and winning and winning, I was like, oh, I might just win a couple more fights and then retire. But now I realize that I need this sport and I'm going to be here for a lot longer of a time period than I originally thought." Nate Diaz. In August 2023, Jake secured a unanimous points win against Nate Diaz over 10 rounds in Texas to get back to winning ways. Following the impressive win, he said, "I knocked him down, won basically every round. I think he won one round, but he's a warrior. I had him hurt in the first round. He kept on coming. All credit to my team, my conditioning. Going 10 rounds in my 8th fight, it's unheard of. I've only been boxing for 3 years. He's a UFC legend. I was watching this kid growing up." Who is Jake Paul fighting next? August and Paul are going toe-to-toe in the boxing ring at the Caribe Royal Orlando in Florida on Friday, December 15, 2023. The card is scheduled to start at 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time /8 p.m. ET. Ring walks for the main event, which will be shown live on DAZN, will be at around 4 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time /11 p.m. ET. Combat sports journalist Ariel Helwani said the fight will take place at cruiserweight and consist of 8 rounds. Confirming the fight on X, formerly known as Twitter, Paul wrote, "Ask and I shall deliver. August has more KOs than me, more wins than me, more experience than me, but I like to gamble. The path to world champ starts here. Just straight up boxing." Paul also listed 4 reasons why his opponent August was a good choice after many fans were left underwhelmed when the Texan boxer was announced as his opponent, following big-name battles with Diaz, Fury, and Silva. He said, "Boxer true and true. Better record than me. More wins by KO than me. Same weight." Ahead of the clash, August said, "I don't talk very much. I'm all about that action. Jake Paul has the money, the fame, the team, and the resources, but he doesn't have my hunger. When that bell rings, I am going to go straight to Jake Paul and ring his bell and send him back to YouTube for good."